This guy has just shown tremendous concern about what's going on in Enugu State, on some parts of the country. What happened in Edo State, what happened in Burgos, Jos in Plateau State, and some other places, and including, of course, Borno State, where we have 3 local government areas that's under the influence or control of bandits or Boko Haram, as the case may be. For those who don't know, may probably just have to play this video for you to hear him. I mean, he's someone who has lived in Enugu for a long time. He was part of the Enugu State government's peace and reconciliatory group that was created by the former governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, where they were mandated with the responsibility of going to different communities where this issue of farmers' herders clash happened in the past, to meet with them, to navigate the system, and of course to bring back some information about the issues that they have seen and they have experienced, and what the farmers are saying, what the herders are saying, and with a view to finding out how they can amicably solve the problem. So let's listen to him, and thereafter I would come back to say some more things. And something also I wanted to say is that for those who are saying that there wasn't any effort made by the previous administration to curb the issue of farmers' herders clash, this is a proof. This is a proof that the administration of Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi did what it could within its powers. Now, whether the effort that was put in trying to solve the problem yielded results is another thing. There's an issue. There's something about not solving a problem at all. People complained about it. You didn't do anything about it. I mean, it was even under his administration that there was this particular law was enacted. Remember, the anti-open grazing law was enacted in Enugu State under Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. And the law, part of the law, because I read that news, part of the law stated that nobody should take their cows from one place to another. That people should go on for people who owned cows and cattle should ranch their cattle and endeavor and ensure that they don't take it away from their ranches to move into people's farms to eat their crops. At least I can say I read that news. He assented to it, especially after that 2016 massacre that happened at Nimbo, where over 40 persons were killed and communities sacked. It was unprecedented under his watch. But again, you cannot say he didn't do anything. Now, after doing those things, would you, and that the head of the police is not under the control of the governor. The police IG is under the presidency. The army is under the presidency. The governors can just only collaborate with the police, assist them, buying them vehicles, or helping them with equipment and all of these things. There's a limit to what the governor can do when it comes to securities that is forceful or that is confrontational. If you command the army will not go without hearing from the presidency. If you tell the police move, the police will not go if they don't hear from the presidency. IG is under the police, and if the IG calls the commissioner, call this operation off, they would practically call it off. And that particular Nimbo crisis that happened, the governor had an intel about that attack and even mentioned to the police. It's just that the breakdown of law and order is also unprecedented. People don't take their job seriously, and no consequences for people who break the law. And remember also, that's about the time also that people started shouting that governors should start building or creating their own, police, so that they were able to tell them to do something and they would do it. That was the time Amoteko came on board. That was the time they were mounting Ebubago the governors, the 5 Southeast governors were already, on the motion to creating a Bubagu as a security network of the Southeast, so they are able to, tell them to do certain things, and keep the peace around these hinter areas, these areas that are especially the farmland areas. So you can't really say Ugwuanyi did not do anything. He allowed them to overrun communities, overrun places, but you could say his efforts maybe were not as potent, if you like, or the things that he did, the meetings, the convening of meetings that he did that involved both locals and the community leaders of the Fulani. Maybe you would say they didn't yield the result that you wanted, but not that he didn't do anything completely. Now, let's go to this concern that this guy raised. I mean, he's a northerner, he's someone who has lived in Enugu, moved around a little bit. If you hear him speak, you know that he is that kind of person. Let's listen to him, and we'll be right back afterwards.
Top of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here on a very, very sad note. Wallahi, yesterday and day before yesterday, when I saw the pictures, the gruesome pictures of the individuals that were unalived in Bokos, I wept for my country. Not just Bokos, in Ehamofu and also Adani in Enugu State. It is very, very unfortunate that these things are happening. These headsmen, I don't understand how somebody is going to compare the life of a cow to a life of a human being. Who does that? Let's assume something happens to the headsmen. Why would you take the laws into your hands? This is not the first time you people are doing this thing. I worked in Enugu for 5 years. I worked under the Enugu State Peace and Security Committee. There is no local government in Enugu that I have not been to, trying to curb this menace between farmers and herders. I've been to all these places, from Nkerefi in Ogu to Adani, Isuzo, Uzuwani, Udi, Igwetiti, Igweze. You understand? I've been to all these places, Oba, Nsuka, because I was with the Enugu State Peace and Security Committee that was constituted by the former governor, Right Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. We go into these villages, we see the destruction that these headsmen usually do and cause. So my problem is, what is wrong with the security architectures of these states? For how long these headsmen attacks have been consistent for the past decade? I can remember the attack in Dogona in Jos. So I wonder, children that do not know anything about whatever it is, I wonder how you are going to take your cows close to somebody's farm, destroy the person's farm. Though I know sometimes the reaction from the farmer sometimes is harsh, of which I understand. It's difficult for you to put ones and twos together, farm, and then see it destroyed. But I wonder how this will now result to you coming back in the night and destroying a whole community, unaliving a whole community, unaliving over 100 people that know nothing about what transpired. For crying out loud, where is that done? Where is that done on this earth? Where is that done? Only in Nigeria. I saw the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Muftuanga. I would definitely applaud you, Mr. Governor, for your swift intervention in going to Bokos. I don't know what the Enugu State governor is doing about the Adani situation and that of Ehamofu. But I even saw the governor of Plateau State in Abuja trying to seal a deal with the security architecture about the surveillance, I think drones and some other things. But this has to stop. If you know what I experienced in Enugu, I'll find time and give you people. I have concrete details of what is happening between farmer and herders. I have details of the issues with the farmers. I have details of the issues with the herders. I think it's time we do something about this collectively. So if you condemn the killing of Deborah, now condemn the killing of the 16 people in Edo State, Uromi, and you're not condemning the killings in Bokos, then you are a hypocrite. What is wrong is wrong.
Made some salient point. He has called out his kinsman doing this. There's no painting it. I mean, even the report I have done, which I'm going to attach to this video, the report I have done has also stated that that the Fulani, the locals we spoke to, said they were Fulani headsmen. The locals we spoke to say they are Fulani headsmen holding guns. They are Fulani headsmen carrying daggers and knife with them. I mean, if you try to speak to them about not carrying their cattle across your farm or destroying your crops, they tend to threaten you. They tell you they were going to kill you. They do their hands like this. I mean, these are not things that I don't know. And I think that we have spoken to locals who have told us exactly, even the woman that was raped narrated the ordeal. They were headsmen, Fulani headsmen. There's no trying to paint it or trying to say, okay, let's not put it that. That is, I'm reporting what they said to me, not me, because I'm not in the community. I'm only going to report as a journalist. So they were the ones saying these things. Now it's confirmed that according to this guy's narration, it is clear. Now, according to this guy's narration, it is clear that Gwai did certain things. Peace and Reconciliatory Committee that was formed, that even at that, the matter escalated. They didn't solve the problem. And he now started saying that the recent happening in Ehamufu, even though he doesn't have the numbers, he can't really articulate specifically what had happened in Ehamufu recently, and that he has moved around for a lot of times, and he doesn't know what this governor is doing in that regard. Remember, we have stated clearly, even the chairman of that local government, issues a local government area, hosted journalists and explained the part that are there issues, security concerns? Yes, there are security concerns which the government is dealing with. In fact, they have said, you know, normally there is usually these meetings that happen between headsmen and the Fulani headsmen who are resident in Isuzo and the locals. The chairman himself stated that, look, they have told them to call their brothers, you know, call their brothers' attention about these issues. They're not going to have anything to do with anybody who tries to subvert the will of the people, which is keeping the peace. People cannot be scared going to their farms, especially now that the rains have just started. So they must make sure that they keep the peace and nobody should encroach into anybody's farm. That has happened recently. We also know about the protest that happened, that women came out protesting about the killings in Ehamufu. There are concerns. There are a few persons who have been killed. Like I told you, I did a report in December in Ehamufu. The locals told me the same thing, that those people are eating their crops. Sometimes they have to run away for their lives, for safety, because these people can decide to kill you in the farm and nobody will hear about you anymore. And that they're losing their mind about, their sleep about this thing. Yes, they have been losing their sleep about this thing, but not to the scale of what, you know, people are projecting it to be. So this concern is something that, of course, the Enugu state government has been saying and that has been putting. I want to show you a statement released by the government of Enugu state recently as regards the security issues. They say there are certain things they cannot say to the public about what is going on matters of security. You know, I understand, and I clearly understand. If I have not worked in certain offices and know the sensitivity of certain things, I will be telling you, I beg, they should release what they are doing. They should release what they are doing. What nonsense is that? No be like that. Oh, so I will release it. I will show you. This is a statement that the government of Enugu State has released, saying even apart from what has happened in Ehamofu, it's not like they are denying that it didn't happen. It happened. Apart from what they are seeing in Ehamofu, they talked about the Ogogonike. Nobody is talking about that one. They highlighted Ogogonike, that they're hearing about. They know about the security concerns on that axis, where people will be shot at, people will be kidnapped, people's vehicles will be waylaid, and all of those things. They know about that development, and that there are certain things they will not disclose certain things. I am not going to read out everything, but I want you to you can munch it, you can pause it, and read the statements, read the letter released by the special assistant to the governor. This is a recent happening. So I want to let everybody know that the governor is not quiet. You remember when he went to Nimbo, when 4 people were killed last year, there's something he said that I've never heard any governor say, especially regarding this killing thing. What he said was, Enugu people are hospitable people, but they should not be taken for granted. That you shouldn't take for granted any people who, being there, they are cool-headed, they are cool guys. I mean, we are cool people. They are people who want to receive everybody into town, for crying out loud. But they shouldn't be taken for granted. The way and manner he said it, well, again, these are things that on a very good day, you don't expect the government to come and start saying we're going to, make life uncomfortable for people who are perpetuating evil and all of those things. You won't do that. So you have to also be strategic. There's certain things you wouldn't be saying, so that it doesn't look like you are fighting a certain group of persons. Because again, it's very easy for people to misconstrue what you say. If you say you want to flush out people in the forest, they'll start telling you that you're fighting Fulani people. And then their brothers in the north will start shouting, oh, they're trying to keep people. But they will not see this one. But it's good that this guy came out and said what he said about, his brothers, taking advantage of the situation and killing locals. It's really unfortunate, and I hope that security agencies move quickly so that we don't get into the situation where we'll start having bloodshed across board. You could also drop your thoughts and your comments, especially as it relates to this matter. I would love to hear from you. I'll be in the comment section to basically talk a little more about this issue. Thank you all for watching.